This is Radar from the Red Table coming at you with another edition of Movie Observations number 212. So the first movie that I watched was a movie on streaming, and it was called Quasi. It was a satire movie trying to be like Men in Tights, movies that have, comedy, but they're like in the past, and they're like Lord Arthur and the Round Knight's Table, Arthur and his knights and all these other things, and John Cleese type of movie. So it was really dumb and pretty stupid about a hunchback who's a torturer, and apparently he's like the best, and then he wins a lottery that his friend is nice enough to give it to him, and his whole life changes, and then like he falls for the queen, and then the pope or priest whatever is trying to kill the king, and it's like, you kill him, no, you kill him for me, and he's related to the queen. It was weird stuff, and it was a very dumb movie, but there were some very funny laugh out moments, and it's also 90 something minutes. It's literally straight to streaming movie. It's on Hulu. It's an original movie. So it was okay. It's a take on Victor Hugo's 1831 film, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the novel, and it's about a hunchback. So it was all right. It was okay. It was okay. It's just not great. Then I watched the movie Retribution with Liam Neeson. And most of the time, I will say 99% of the time, you watch a Liam Neeson movie and it's great. There's been a few like romance dramas or some other things that are not so much. But this plot sounds really silly, but it turned out to be really good. I don't want to spoil it like I do with bad movies, but again, barely 90 minutes with credits, so it's a very short movie, get straight to the point. He's like a finance guy, a little bit estranged with his wife and his kids because he's so busy. He agrees to take his kids to school, and then some burner phones in his car and says, hey, we've put a bomb in your car, and it's going to blow up. If you get out, your kids get out, if you call the cop, those type of things where bad guys say, don't call the police, only work with us for a ransom, blah, 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 blah. You're just like, okay, cool. He's got to figure out a way to outsmart this person and not lose his children or die himself. So the whole movie is him trying to listen to the guy's instructions, but also trying to figure out how to stop him. And it was pretty good. I liked it. There's enough action in the movie. It wasn't that boring. The only boring parts were the beginning about his drama with his family and his son and his son's girlfriend. But you get past that and you're just like, cool. That's good. It's a really good, short and concise action movie, and it's more his speed for his age, like just a regular businessman in a car. It's not like he's got all these skills or anything, like in Taken. So, great movie there. Pretty good, almost great movie. Then I watched King of Killers, which is based off a graphic novel, and spoiler alert, they kind of set up the movie, so there's going to be a sequel. So, Frank Grillo, who's on this cover, is the biggest actor in this movie. Alan Musi, Marie Avagelos, George St. Pierre, Stephen Dorff is in this movie, and he's like the handler. So again, barely 90 minutes. So the point of this movie is like a little bit of a mystery, but basically there's a contract out for all these assassins, right? And the goal is you got to take down someone, and they don't know who it is, and then they're told it's one of the greatest assassins ever, no one's ever seen him, etc., etc., and the goal is you get a chance to take him down one-on-one, and whoever comes out on top wins, and they get a contract, they get the money, etc., etc., The assassin has a handler who reaches out to them. So Stephen Dorff is the handler for the main character of the movie, but he's dealing with personal drama, which kind of bogs it down, where someone screwed him over and his wife gets killed, and he's a single father, and his daughter has a heart condition. So it's a little bit like not flimsy, but like let's pull on the heartstrings a bit. So he's got something to work for. He's not just a single man with nothing in his life to worry about. You're like, cool. He's got something to fight for. So that the whole movie is a bunch of assassins trying to take down the best assassin, and winner gets the money and gets to be called King of the Killers and stuff. So I liked it. It was overall pretty good, but they kind of like squeezed some things in the end just to make it a sequel, potentially in the future. I don't know if the graphic novel is a sequel, but not bad for an almost 91-minute movie with credits, with a lot of action and some silly drama, but you have to give the character, like his past and the things he's trying to overcome. So, not bad. Then I watched the movie Kung Fu Panda 4. It's been a while since I saw the third one, and I don't really remember what happened in the third one. I only really remember what happened in the first one. He becomes this, warrior, even though he's not supposed to be. Dustin Hoffman is still the Red Panda, who's his sensei, and he's telling him that he has to move on and become the spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace. He doesn't want to. He wants to continue to be the Dragon Warrior, and because of money and the fact that this is like the fourth one, and Angelina Jolie and the other animals, other actors who voice the animals of all the warriors, they have cutouts of them. They kind of show them in the end, but there's no, actual talking. That's the way they get around it. Hoffman's, I guess, still wants to be in it. Bryan Cranston and the other actor playing his father, who's a very famous actor, they're still in the movie. And Viola Davis plays the villain of this movie, where she wants to rule the world, and she wants to take people's powers because she's a sorceress, and he's got to stop her. So, it's like, against all odds, Jack Black's Kung Fu Panda has got to save the day. And there was a lot of laugh-out-loud jokes, a lot of things that were funny, a lot of children humor. It was a pretty good plot, because he's a good character, and people see that he's a good person, and sometimes people take advantage of that. And there was some interesting voice actors. They brought back the original villain, like the leopard or tiger or whatever, as you can see here from like the original movies. They bring that actor back. He's a famous British actor. Awkwafina, unfortunately, is the other main character in the movie. And no offense to her, she may be funny in like live action or stand-up or her TV show. And someone has a music career that I don't know much about. But her voice is annoying. And you're going to say, you have an annoying voice. Yes, I probably have an annoying voice. But the Disney movie where she was a dragon, and then and a few other animated movies I watched, it was just, oh yeah, it was like the Little Mermaid movie. She was like the pelican or the seagull or whatever. Just very annoying. So she's like annoyingly, and she's like the second most talked person in this movie with Jack Black. But at least Viola Davis and Awkwafina are two women who I think are a little bit oversaturated and overrated, and they're playing like the bad guys. So you're just like, okay, cool. Sorry if I spoiled that to say she was bad guy Awkwafina, but you could see it becoming, because she is in the movie, she's a criminal. That's how the movie starts. So it's not really giving anything away. So yeah, it was just another adventure. I don't know why they made a fourth one, but hey, stick around for the post-credit scene with the music. It's really funny. And again, barely 90 minutes, and with long animation for kids movie, that takes up what most of the credit scenes are. Then I watched a movie called Savage Salvation. They say payback is dirty, and it's got Robert De Niro, and he plays a sheriff, and John Malkovich, and it's about this Jack Houston guy. And pretty much this movie is barely an hour and 40 minutes. And the plot is, a recovering addict goes on a vengeful killing spree, hunting down the drug dealers and everyone in the chain before the sheriff has to put an end to his vigilante justice because his girlfriend dies because they both were recovering. Guy comes around, gives her drugs again, whatever. And whoever did the sound editing of this movie, the explosions and the gunshots were so loud when I raised the volume to hear the simple dialogue, or when Robert De Niro is doing his inner monologue or narrating, I could barely hear it. And obviously he plays like the sheriff who's been doing this for a long time, so it doesn't faze him a lot of things. But I don't know why he was in this low-budget movie, but also why was he in this really bad-written, poorly put-together movie. But that's another story for Robert De Niro, who has a birthday today, so happy birthday to him. But then I'm watching the cover, and I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, okay, cool. John Malkovich looks like the bad guy, because if the main dude is guy with the young guy, and he's the sheriff, then who's the bad guy in the movie? It must be John Malkovich. But they did everything possible, like he's a man of faith, and he's providing for the guy's girlfriend's family, where it's confused if the father's dead, he's the stepfather, and if the mother looks like she's a drug addict, like there's something wrong with her faith, but she's complaining about her daughter, and then there's a sister, I don't know. But yeah, and he's like Rambo, and he just goes from like the guy that he knows that supplies drugs to his boss, to where he gets it, and who's in charge, and he's going on this whole list of just killing people and stuff, like a Rambo style, where he's like, bam, 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 shooting around, taking other people's guns, and like stabbing people. I'm like, I don't know if a drug addict is. Like in other movies, like Rambo and other movies, there's a background to the character where they can just go into a building and kill like all 30 people because they have the skills. I don't know what this former drug addict, what his skills were. They didn't really go into much of his background, but it was not greatly written. Then I watched the last movie of the week called Journey to Bethlehem. They call it The Greatest Story That Comes Alive. It's a Christian musical adventure for the entire family with Christmas melodies, with some new songs and the telling of Mary and Joseph and the birth of Jesus, and this new Christmas musical unlike anything before. And again, barely 90-something minutes. It's like 92, maybe 93 minutes. It's all of Antonio Banderas is like the king. Lecrae the rapper is Peter. Why did I say Peter Gabriel? The angel Gabriel. And like Milo Manheim is Joseph, and this Fiona Paloma is this. And she's like, I don't want to marry a guy. I want to be a teacher. And he's like, I don't want to get married. I want to be an inventor. And they're kind of forced to each other. And we all know she gets pregnant through God, apparently. And the king wants her dead, and then the other, the three wise men try to come and help, and all this other stuff. And yeah, it's something that in my opinion, unless you're Christian or you like Christian musicals or a huge fan of Milo Manheim or Antonio Banderas, you just put on in the background, like I did for multitasking, and you're just like, cool. You pay attention a few times to some Jewish things going on in the background, the Hebrew letters, and you're just like, okay, cool. So I'm going to tell you this. The best movie I watched this week was Retribution of Liam Neeson, tied with Kung Fu Panda. Even though there was no need for a Kung Fu Panda 4, it was very entertaining and good. King of Killers, there was some plot holes and a lot of like personal drama I didn't care about, but it was definitely a watchable movie. I'm going to tell you that Savage Salvation, and even though Malkovich and De Niro are amazing actors, you can throw that to the side. No one cared. Same thing with Journey to Bethlehem and the movie Quasi again. Unless you're like bored on streaming and you're going to watch that on Hulu, I would not watch it. Thanks again for listening to another show of Movie Rounds Days number 212. From the Red Table Blog, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.